Alright, welcome to Battlebase Delta. I forgot that there was actually a bit of extra camera zoom on this version of the map. I do believe it has been fixed now, but for now, it's a little bit wonky. At any rate, in the top right corner, playing as the Yellow Allies, we do indeed have from teammates, the young one, it is Vindies. And in the bottom left side, starting as the somewhat awkwardly placed Empire, it is indeed the blue TNG player in Clan Wars. It is SuperPower. Why do I say that? Well, you may notice his power plant is a little bit off-center. You can't actually, with the Southern Empire spawn, you can't actually deploy buildings right there. Again, it's one of those things that's like, this is version 0.5 of this map. This is not a finished map in any means, but since it's Clan Wars, I'm going to force these guys to play on it. A couple of things to note, there are two relatively easily capturable garages, so one for each player. Then we've got our oil derricks here, and then some other miscellaneous buildings as well to kind of round out our tech capturable building options. Now, unlike Battlebase Beta, there's no buildings in the middle. And again, these little supply piles are something that may end up staying in the game. They may end up getting removed. I kind of suggested maybe think about removing one set of the supply piles, either one, doesn't really matter which one, just so that there's not too many pathing issues. I think it's a great idea, though, creating that kind of breakup to allow players to flank around and just to mix things up as well. Now, as you can see, it's relatively similar in the expansion layout in comparison to Battlebase Beta. It's relatively similar. It's not exactly the same. As you can see, the layout of some of these bases is a little bit different. This ramp is relatively similar. And then back here on the islands, you can see there's actually a ramp for each of the islands, which is kind of interesting in itself. At any rate, it looks like we just had a single racks opening from both players, although I think it was technically triple racks for the oil derrick captures for, I guess he never got that one, for SuperPower. He did indeed go, like, quad dojo, though, as it was single racks for Vindies, and then really only one racks of production for SuperPower until this racks is kicking on. Now, there's his engineer. He might be going for this garage, but he may also just be going for the oil derrick of Vindies. And this map, I think it feels deceptively large, but technically, it's actually the same either width or height. I think it's the same height as Battlebase Beta, and then it's slightly slimmer. I believe that's the difference in map height. I think part of it has to do with the extra zoom on the camera. Like, this is what it should be, and maybe that kind of helps. But, yeah, when you're zoomed all the way out, it kind of looks weird. At any rate, it does look like, ooh, this garage is being guarded by a couple of Javelin Troopers, but they're going to get wrecked pretty hard by these Imperial Warriors. One Javelin Trooper goes down. The second one will be getting eliminated as well. And Vindies, he's going to be looking to put on potentially some pressure. He is going to be taking his third expansion. He's got his walls going up there. And, of course, unlike Battlebase Beta, you can wall in your refineries, as you see there. Oh! Vindies, baby, you got to get that harvester back to work. You got to tell him to do something, because right now he's not doing anything useful. SuperPower, on the other hand, he's going 3 refinery into Tier 2 on his Mecha Bay. He's got himself some Chopper VXs stomping around the map. And Vindies, I mean, he's started to push into this middle part of the map, and of course, with that allied build radius, he can drop down multi-gunner turrets all over the place without too much trouble. Third refinery up and running for both players. Fourth refineries may be on the way relatively soon. Again, Vindies has this extra ore collector, which now has been tagged by a burst drone. I imagine that ore collector was supposed to be, it was either just straight up a misclick, or it was supposed to be for, like, this expansion, potentially even this expansion. But the extra ramps really open up the map. As you can see, there's just ramps all over the place. Actually, those 2 ramps, I'm trying to think. No, I think this ramp didn't exist, but this ramp did. And I think the building placement was a little bit different here. He's changed the buildings quite a bit. I think there's still maybe too many buildings here on the map. There's a lot of buildings near the fringe. If you just take a quick look around the minimap, you can see there's quite a few buildings. But Mecha Bay continuing to pump out mostly Striker VXs and a couple of Tengus here and there. I'm actually kind of curious as to what the players think of the extra camera zoom, because there is, like, I forget what the percentage is, but there's a fair amount of extra camera height available on this map. There's the 4th potential expansion coming up, or the 4th refinery, I should say, coming up from Vindies. He's got that Tier 2. Engineer caps his own MCV just to get the insta-heal on it, and is going to be pulling back. Now, SuperPower is doing a good job of making use of so many of the buildings on this map. Now, unfortunately for SuperPower, he's going to have to vacate the premises. He may be able to get some shots off on with just these Imperial Warriors. Never mind, as both of the Vindicators show up to clean up the Imperial Warriors. But this oil derrick was grabbed back by SuperPower, and these players, I think they might just not quite realize that there's 2 garages here, and that they really are meant to each capture 1. And as Empire players, I kind of was debating whether or not it was a good thing to have 2 garages on a map, because initially it just feels so weird. It's like, no, that's a dumb choice. Why would you have 2 garages on a map? But for Empire players, it creates an interesting scenario where if you've got the garage, your Tengus and VXs only repair while they're on the ground. So if you're flying around and you're about to lose a unit, transforming it to the ground could very well save it, because now you're getting those repairs. Ooh, the cryocopter getting caught out of position. The Apollos are here to save it. Will they actually be able to get it? No, they are not able to save it. And again, this is one of those scenarios where it's like, if you had that garage, your units now on the ground would start to re-heal a little bit there. Would have that Tengu died? Probably, but maybe not. There's always that chance. I'm not sure exactly how low on HP it was. It may have died just regardless. Didn't see exactly how many bombs dropped on it either, but this Vindicator is going to be getting cleaned up. And, oh, this Striker VX is going to be potentially going down as well. No, the Apollo gets annihilated. And Vindies, he may be sitting on that 4 refinery economy, but he's starting to take a lot of damage to his active forces. He's not going to have really that standing army that you look for. He does have double racks production, and of course, he can always pump out a couple of spies. So we've seen a player like Vindies. No, we've seen Vindies specifically. Not even a player like Vindies, but we've seen Vindies specifically bring himself into games, and maybe it's bringing himself back into the game. Maybe it's putting himself in a winning position with spies. He captures, 3 or 4 tsunami tanks, maybe 8 Tengus, something like that. He gets extreme value for these spies, and it's one of those things that other allied players have kind of seen like, oh yeah, I remember now, you can use spies. You can do some pretty crazy things with spies. I remember them. However, since neither player, I really feel like SuperPower should grab one of these garages. Probably this one, but again, all of these units on the ground that have taken damage would be, this guy would probably be near half health or full health now. The other guys would be completely healed up. So TNG SuperPower really, I think, needs to make advantage or take advantage of that and look to get those garages at some point. Yeah, it's a $500 expense, but when you're thinking about all of the units you're probably going to be saving with those free repairs anywhere on the map, even when you're harassing, it can be a pretty big deal. Tengu's coming in, taking a little bit of damage from the multi-gunner turret. Not too big of a deal. As you can see, Vindies is starting to build up a nice defensive line. He wants to hold the line, buy himself some more time. He could be going tier 3. He could be looking to get his war factory up. Either one is going to help him deal with these units. One Vindicator goes down rather quickly. The Tengus are getting chewed up a fair amount here. Now the tsunami tanks are coming in for the crushes. There's the spy. That's the move that Vindies needed, and that's the sort of stuff that he's known for. As you can see, SuperPower just slapped that F key, used the nano deflector on all of those tsunami tanks, and now he's going to be overwhelmed, and even the Striker VX is going to be going down. Vindies still has 2 tsunami tanks, and 1 Tengu behind the lines isn't going to be enough to end the game for SuperPower. Now Vindies is in a much, much better position. He's got armor on the ground. He can, of course, get repairs for these guys, and SuperPower throws down the ha. But I'm not sure exactly what that's about. Maybe he's thinking he's going to go tier 3 over here on his Imperial docks, maybe get up some Shogun battleships. Of course, this is Clan Wars. There's nothing on the line except for pride for these players and the ability to say, my clan's the best. Ooh, that Imperial Warrior. That engineer, he wants to escape. But is he going to be able to? It's going to be relatively close either way. He might be able to. Yeah, that is a building. Oh, SuperPower jumps into the building. I don't know if that'll be better or worse because now the bonsai charge, I think, got canceled. No, but it did absorb a couple of seconds there. The engineer should be getting taken out. Yes, it will go down. Can he get any more shots? Yes, he gets the final shots off there. I'm not sure why Vindies, neither player has captured either of those tech structures. They've only captured one of the many tech structures on this map. Cryocopter Vindicator harassment combo coming down to the bottom section of the map. And there's the nice kill for Vindies. Ooh, utilizing that cryo shot as well just to do even more damage. Dropping just a single bomb, good on him. And going to be cleaning up a third harvester relatively quickly. One Tengu does transform. This Apollo is here to guard, but it's all the way down here. Is he going to be able to pull it in time? Of course, cryocopters can tank lots of damage, and it's like if you go for the... Oh, that cryocopter's dead! That cryocopter got just straight wrecked, son. But if you go to kill the cryocopter, then the cryocopter is probably going to freeze the unit anyways, and then that unit remains frozen for, you know, 5 or 10 seconds, whatever it is, depending on the unit. Oh, another engineer gets cleaned up. Good on SuperPower. Cleaning up engineers left, right, and center. At any rate, cryocopter ends up freezing the unit. Then the unit stays frozen while the Vindicator comes in. So you end up killing the cryocopter, which, yeah, it's 1,600 credits, and that's great. But you lose the unit anyways, and in some cases, that's enough to make it worth it for the allied player. Now, Vindies needs to bring some of his infantry up to the front lines, otherwise he's just going to get trashed. The Imperial Warriors Bonsai charge forward. The Tsunami Tanks are trying to body block for them, but soon, oh, Javelin Troopers are getting cut down left, right, and center. Tsunami Tanks are getting focused down. SuperPower is starting to break the front. If only there was a garage for either player, it may end up turning the tide of this battle one way or the other as Tsunami Tanks push forward, taking some damage from Vindicators, and also the Cryocopter going with the Shrink Ray. Guardian Tank on the front line will be able to break this attack, and SuperPower is going to have to retreat. There's no two ways about it. He is not going to be able to break the front of Vindies, and with his multi-gunner turrets and now his armor facility, Vindies is able to hold the line. Cryocopters are now out in force. SuperPower starting to harass. Good use of the Yari minisub. Needs to clear out the ore refinery as well. Do not let that ore refinery stand. But he's had that Imperial docks for so long in this game that it's not going to be a bad idea. Ooh, building 2 of them is almost not worth it, but he did force the sell-off, which means those 2 are definitely worth it. If he built 3, then it's not really worth it, although some players will just suicide almost endless numbers of Yari mini-subs into just 2,000 credit buildings, and it's just like, is that really the best thing to do? I'm not so sure.
Worms, surrender or be destroyed.
I love these guys using the in-game taunts. And 2 cryocopters going to be showing up. Nope, they're not going to be freezing anything because that harvester has not been rebuilt. But Vindies has held quite well versus the forces of SuperPower. And now SuperPower is in an awkward situation where he's taken some pretty serious economic damage, but he's also dealt a little bit of economic damage. He has not broken the front, though. And that is incredibly important, as he has not been able to really knock Vindies out. He hasn't fully eliminated all of the air units, and Vindies has been able to rebuild the ones that have been killed off. As you can see, 3 cryocopters on the front lines with 3 Apollos. These 3 Tengus will not be able to contend with them. It's just not enough firepower from SuperPower. He is going to be going for a bit of a counterattack. As you can see, Apollos and cryocopters are going for the harass with this Vindicator, but everything gets turned around. Vindies sensing danger, and not too big of a deal there. A couple of shots there. One Tengu does go down. The Strikers do transform. The Apollo's getting chased. There's something going on in the main base as it is cryocopters freezing down. Potentially even the MCV could just go for the MCV next. I would almost recommend it with 3 cryocopters, but he does redeploy. Oh my gosh, the MCV is frozen anyways. Goodbye, MCV. Goodbye, Harvester. Just adding insult to injury. SuperPower throws out another but imagine again if he had just a little bit of a garage. Ooh, one Apollo gets taken out. The other one will manage to escape. Those Striker VX is not able to take it down. And I'm not actually sure if a, yeah, some of these units are indeed pretty damaged. So again, that garage, it would be so useful for helping SuperPower to make his units last just a little bit longer. And this map is indeed Battlebase Delta, made by Yellow Jacket. A big shout out to him. And so far, I mean, it's not proving to be like a really dumb map in this first game. And keep in mind, guys, this is version 0.5. It is a beta version of the map. This is an... Oh, we do indeed have a multi-gunner IFV rolling up to the front lines. I'm not sure exactly... Oh, that's a spy inside, not a peacekeeper. He only grabbed a single Tengu, though. I don't know if that's necessarily worth it. I mean, that's not even worth it. Oh, my word. Oh, SuperPower. Oh, SuperPower, thank you. Thank you, SuperPower, for doing that, for crushing that guy. That spy. At the same time, artillery is already out, and artillery is one of those clocks in Red Alert 3. It's like, if you have it and your opponent doesn't, you have that sort of advantage over them. There's no sort of static defense that they can do. You have to you can force them to engage because you can hit them at that greater range. It really does give you such an advantage in the game in many ways. But let's take another quick recap. It looks like 1, 2, 3. All right, we're doing well. 4 harvesters harvesting, while it's just the 1, 2, 3 for Vindies. So the slight economic edge going to SuperPower, and once you add in that oil derrick as well, buying himself some time could actually be the thing that saves SuperPower in this game. But counterattacks for Vindies are a good way for him to get himself back into this game in the economy front, as his army is doing quite fine. I mean, there's not really, he doesn't like need to really do crazy things to make his army that much better. Although SuperPower has been able to macro up just a ridiculous amount of units. They're not necessarily the best units ever, but it is a large number of them. This Vindicator goes down, a nice snipe and intercept there by SuperPower. He's going to clean up 1, potentially 2, and maybe even 3 cryocopters. They all go down. The engineer might get sniped as well. No, the transform does not happen. SuperPower is looking for blood. He smelled it in the water. He's going for the power plants. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it. He may very well be able to just snipe this power plant down without too much problem. He may also be pushing the front at the same time. A Mirage tank shows up. Sentry bombers are also out on the map, but there's 3 strikers going for the counterattack, and these multi-pronged attacks might start to push and pull Vindies apart. As we can see, it's not really a very strong attack at the front. I'm not sure what happened to all of these tsunami tanks, but none of them are really left on the ground. There's, I think, only 1 really on the map anymore, and the Athena cannon ends up surviving. There's still 3, 4 tank busters, 0 tank busters pretty much are left, but the Tengu striker force is over here. Unfortunately, SuperPower stopped giving it orders to attack. Now he's going to be finishing off potentially. Oh, no, don't transform for 1 Tengu. I don't know how I feel about that. That was not a very fun-looking transform there. As the Athena Cannon's going to start picking off these Tengus in SuperPower, he's going to be gifting away these Tengus. Get the veteran and elite and heroic ones out of there. Do not give those guys away. Mirage Tank shows up to the battle. It's not getting focused. SuperPower making some critical mistakes here, and I feel like his army could have been put to better use. He will be able to clean up the Athenians most likely. The Mirage Tanks as well may be going down. A nice kill and pickup here, but he's lost so much of his army. Can he stop Tanya on the other side of the map? His Mecha Bay is gone. He has no MCV as far as I know. He can't reproduce that. Tanya may be getting cleaned up here. No, she jumps inside of 1 tsunami tank. No, gets cleaned up. The Hero Harvester kills Tanya. SuperPower able to save himself from the Commando, and on top of that, he's still cleaning up forces on this side of the map. Cleaning up a Harvester needs to get out and go for the high-value targets. No, he loses another heroic Chopper VX. A second Chopper VX goes down. The heroic one does escape. I believe there was 2 heroic Chopper VXs there, and Vindies does still stand. He's got his infrastructure, his MCV tier 3, and the airfield is rebuilt as well. He does not have to retech, and SuperPower is in an extremely dire situation. He can't go tier 3. He can try to go tier 2, although I'm not sure that that would give him the options that he needs. He's got only infantry, and he's got the Imperial Docks, so he can still build tsunami tanks if he needs. He may actually already be producing them from there. Now, this is the big push that SuperPower needs. He does have a couple of heroic units packed along here. The Striker VX mixed in for that status. And still no grabbing. Oh, this Cryogeddon could just end things. No, the Sentry Bomber isn't able to get the kills, but a couple of the Tsunami Tanks do go down. The Striker goes down as well, and the Mirage Tanks, are they going to be able to pick off any more units? Yes, they get 1 Tsunami Tank. 3 more do end up escaping. They are able to run down the ramp and maybe might be able to do more damage. At the very least, they should be able to escape out onto the water, but that's not the solution that SuperPower needs. Although it may be his only solution available. I think he's literally pulling everything. As the Heroic Harvester is, I'm not exactly sure where. I think it may have just gone down right there, which would be unfortunate. SuperPower's like, yeah, there's still nothing over there. He's got a Yari mini-sub anyway, so he already knows that. And, wow, none of these Harvesters are actually the Heroic one. I'm not sure what happened to the Heroic one. Wow. SuperPower is really committed to this. Oh, no, he rebuilt his MCV finally from the Naval Yard. Forgot about that. And Vindies finally did grab that oil derrick. The engineer was running around here a little bit earlier. Athena cannon is indeed being reproduced. 2 tsunami tanks waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Could maybe poke up here and take out the refinery. We shall see. Oh, infantry versus Athena cannon, even mixing in the cryocopter for extra killing ability. Oh, this is going to be brutal as there's Emperor's Rage, but the Athena cannon fires off the Aegis shield, denying a lot of the DPS from these units from even affecting the allied arsenal. And 2 Mirage tanks getting pulled back to the main base where the tsunami tanks are. The Shrink Ray affecting one of the tsunami tanks. The other one might just get frozen down. Mirage tanks going for the intercept. They don't get the shrunk one. They do get the frozen one, as it is going to be able to just get cleaned up there. A nice move by Vindies. SuperPower trying to make the plays happen. He's taken so much infrastructure damage, and again, he's been able to rebuild a little bit, but he sacrificed his harvesters. I don't know if that was the best idea. It looks like he did pull some of them back. He's still going to be sitting on that 3 refinery economy, and he says, "It's yours," conceding to mates. TNG drops the first game of the January 2015 Clan Wars. And this match, Battlebase Delta, is the map. Version 0.5, it's the beta. This is not the final version of the map, guys. It is going to be pretty fun, though, if this game is any indication, because that was a fun game to watch. So I'm going to go ahead and say that that means Battlebase Delta is a good map, but honestly, you guys should play this map a little bit. You know, provide your opinions in the mess hall of Red Alert 3, red3.org. Go to the tab at the top for forums. Go to Mess Hall. Yellow Jacket has a thread there. You can check that out. Game number 1 of the 2015 Clan Wars comes to a close, and mates takes that point. Now, we may be going into a best-of-3 scenario. If so, I'm going to do what is most in my power to make these guys play on 1.2.12, but that will do it for that game.